Karen acted like she owned my restaurant, so I owned her. I own a small but popular restaurant in town, and it's been my pride and joy for about 10 years now. We've got great food, a fantastic staff, and we're always packed. It's a lot of work, but I genuinely love it. And, as you can imagine, I've seen my fair share of Karens in my time. But the one I encountered last week, she was something else entirely. Let me set the scene. It was a typical Friday night, the place was hopping, and everyone seemed to be in good spirits. I was making the rounds, checking on the kitchen and chatting with customers, when I noticed a woman sitting in the corner, scowling at everyone who came near her. She had the textbook Karen haircut, and she was dressed to the nines. It was like she was trying to make a statement, or maybe she thought she was royalty or something. Now, I don't like to judge people based on appearances, but my Karen-dar was going off the charts. I decided to keep an eye on her, just in case she decided to unleash her wrath on my unsuspecting staff. So, I made sure to have a chat with her server, a young woman named Sarah who's been with us for about 6 months. "Hey, Sarah," I said, "how's your night going? And how's that table over there?" I gestured subtly to Karen, who was now glaring at the couple sitting next to her. Sarah sighed. "Oh, she's a handful. She sent back her food twice, complained about the lighting, and told me I should be grateful for the opportunity to serve her. She even said she knows you and that you'd be upset if you knew how I was treating her." I rolled my eyes. I don't recognize her at all, but don't worry, I've got your back. Let me know if you need any help dealing with her. Sarah smiled, relieved, and went back to her tables. I continued my rounds, but I kept one eye on Karen. It wasn't long before she flagged down Sarah and started berating her, loud enough for the whole restaurant to hear. I specifically asked for no tomatoes on my salad. She shrieked, stabbing the offending vegetable with her fork like it was a mortal enemy. How hard is it to get an order right? I've never been to a more incompetent establishment. Sarah, bless her heart, tried to apologize and offer to fix the salad, but Karen wasn't having it. "No, I don't want this garbage salad anymore. I want to speak to the owner. He's a good friend of mine, and he'll make sure I'm taken care of." Well, that was my cue. I walked over to the table, trying to look as calm and collected as possible. "Hi there, I'm the owner. How can I help you tonight?" Karen looked me up and down, sizing me up like she was trying to decide if I was worthy of her attention. "Well," she said, "your staff is completely incompetent, and I've had nothing but terrible service all evening. I think I deserve some compensation for my trouble." I glanced at Sarah, who looked like she was about to cry. "I'm sorry to hear that," I said, "but I'm afraid I can't offer you any compensation. We've done our best to accommodate your requests, and I stand by my staff. If you're unhappy with your experience, I can only apologize and hope you'll give us another chance in the future." Karen's eyes narrowed, and I could see the rage bubbling beneath the surface. "You must not know who I am," she hissed, like she was some kind of celebrity. "I'm a very influential person in this town, and I could make or break your little restaurant. You should be begging me for forgiveness. Now, I've dealt with my fair share of entitled customers, but this woman was taking it to a whole new level. I decided it was time to put her in her place. So I leaned in, looked her dead in the eye, and said, "Well, I hate to break it to you, but I've been running this restaurant for 10 years, and I've never once had to beg for anyone's forgiveness. My customers and staff are like family to me, and I won't tolerate anyone treating them poorly." Her face went beet red, and I could tell she was about to explode. But before she could say anything, I continued, "So here's what's going to happen. You're going to choose to finish your meal or not, pay your bill, and then leave. And you're not going to come back. Because we don't need your business, and we certainly don't need your attitude." Karen stared at me for a moment, her jaw working like she was trying to find the words to fight back. But I held my ground, refusing to back down. Finally, she let out a huff and said, "Fine, I'll leave, but you'll be sorry for this. Mark my words." She slammed some cash down on the table, gathered her things, and stormed out of the restaurant, leaving a trail of stunned silence in her wake. As soon as the door slammed shut behind her, the entire place erupted into applause. Sarah came over and gave me a hug, thanking me for standing up for her, and the rest of the night went off without a hitch. But, of course, the story doesn't end there, because what kind of Karen tale would it be without a little bit of revenge? A few days later, I got an email from the local newspaper. They wanted to do a story about my restaurant, focusing on our commitment to customer service and our dedication to our staff. It turns out that one of the people who witnessed the Karen confrontation was a reporter, and he thought our story would make for a great article. The day the story was published, I received a call from a friend of mine who works at the local country club. Apparently, Karen was a member there, and she'd been telling everyone how she'd single-handedly destroyed my restaurant with her negative review. But when the newspaper story came out, everyone started laughing at her, and she'd become a laughingstock among her social circle. So, not only did Karen get owned at my restaurant, but she got owned by her own friends and the local press. It just goes to show that sometimes, standing up for yourself and your staff can have some truly epic consequences. And as for my restaurant, business has never been better. People have been coming in specifically to thank us for standing up to Karen, and we've gained a whole new group of loyal customers. It just goes to show that sometimes, dealing with a Karen can be a blessing in disguise. Well, how do you think she did? What would you have done in this situation? Let us know in the comments below. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more Tangled threads.